Hello fellow Star Wars fans, my name is Starpter and welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited, I'm chomping at the bit to talk about this week's comics because we have a milestone for the Star Wars comics. We are our first big, official, longer than a miniseries, post-Return of the Jedi comic with the Battle of Jakku issue 1 of 12 starting this week. Plus we have the ending for Inquisitors, which I've been longing for a while now to see how this thing wraps up. So we have those two, both from Marvel. But before we get started, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button to show your support for this very small YouTube channel talking about Star Wars and other things. I really do appreciate it. With that being said, let's dive in to Inquisitors, issue number 4, of course, written by Rodney Barnes with artwork by Ramon Rosales. So Tensu Run has been on the radar for the Inquisitors, for Vader, for the last 4 issues now. He sent the Grand Inquisitor, he has sent the 5th brother, he has even sent 2 Inquisitors at the same time. That is the 7th and the 9th sisters, and they have all failed. So now they are having to deal with Vader's wrath. He is not happy. He is going to just kill them all if they don't just, take him down once and for all, because Tensu Run has been giving hope to those out there after the events of Revenge of the Sith, right? This is in that dark period of Star Wars where the Inquisitorius wants to eliminate every single Force sensitive, every single Jedi, to have no stand against the Empire. So that is where this story stands. Tensu Run is going on the offensive. He's just going to try to take out these Inquisitors. So Inquisitors come in with 3 TIE Interceptors, by the way. So it is all of the failures. It is the 9th sister, 7th sister, even the Grand Inquisitor and 5th brother. And you have Tensu Run going with his brothers. They're not his official brothers, right? They're like his compatriots, essentially. He's only got 2 of them, right? There's only 3 of them trying to take on these ships in combat, failing utterly. One of the guys goes down. They make their last stand at the temple. They have all these droids that are walking around trying to prevent the Inquisitors from getting to them. I guess they're trying to buy time. Turns out that the Inquisitors are still doing a pretty bad job, and that's when Vader steps in. No, he's going to kill him. There's no other way around, and that's exactly what he does. Vader destroys Tensu Run, as you would expect. But I actually was thinking that the story might turn the route of, okay, maybe they're going to make Tensu Run an Inquisitor. I think that'd be really cool. But no, they basically mercilessly kill him. Vader beheads him and asks one of the Inquisitors to go retrieve his head and let the body fester as a reminder for what was. And when it comes down to it, it's a very dark ending, as you would expect, this main character dying that's for the light. But looking at what the story's purpose was that Jedi shouldn't be glorified, right? He's not being a martyr necessarily. He was trying to have redemption for everything he has done, everything for the Jedi, trying to get a new start. Obviously, that can't happen until after Return of the Jedi, when the Empire's no more. They will not let that stand. But it was interesting to see this pocket of Jedi survivors trying to start something new and having to fight fire with fire. We see Tensu Run using aggression against the Jedi. Against the Inquisitors to really show, like, okay, there's nowhere else for the Jedi to go. And that's not even the solution there. It's not until Luke Skywalker comes in Return of the Jedi, which is when that all goes down. And that's what we're going to get into very quickly. But I will say I really did enjoy what Rodney Barnes was able to flex his writing prowess in this area of the Star Wars timeline, step away from the adaptations, which I very much enjoyed him doing, but it's great to see him really, sharpen his skills with something like this, where I would definitely want to see a continuation, or we know he's working on something, so it's a matter of when that's going to be revealed. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. But getting into something I've been looking so forward to, and that is the Battle of Jakku, written by Alex Segura with a big team of artists on this one. This is our main cover. And since this is such a special release, I was able to nab the last copy of a variant from my local comic store in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. And that is Comic Relief. Go check them out if you're in the New Jersey area. Great store over there. But yes, that's the teaser image that we had, and it's on the variant cover. Vader's helmet does loom large, right? This is after the events of Return of the Jedi, and setting this all up is great action-packed moment, literally, I think, hours or days after destruction of the Death Star 2. We pick up with a B-Wing being assaulted by TIE Strikers. So let's just hover on that image. Let's just hover on that image for a moment, guys, because we get these very obscure ships. I love B-Wings, but man, oh man, are they not really magnified into Star Wars mythos. You don't really see lots of them, right? And same thing with TIE Strikers. Introduced in Rogue One. I have one on my shirt. I didn't even plan it. I just realized that now. I have a TIE Striker on my shirt from Rogue One, none other than one of my favorite Star Wars movies. So seeing these things in there, but it's just not the coolness of the nerdiness of all that. It is what is happening. And we have this rebel pilot that is struggling against these TIE Strikers, and her name is Rin, and she makes a sacrifice, basically to like self-destruct her ship, it looks like, to take out these TIE Strikers, and she's professing her love for her fellow pilot, Preeti. I guess there, her loved one is a pilot as well. So we get to see that there. And then we open up to this Imperial in the Anuet sector, and this is a familiar character. We knew this going into this. They're going to be pulling, Alex Segura, the writer, is going to be pulling from all these different sorts of stories. And by the way, I have to point this out. There are two stories in this single issue. There is the one we're talking about now, Last Resort, written by Alex Segura, with artwork by Leonard Kirk and team. And then you also have The Rising, which is a backup story we're going to get to, that's written by also Segura, Alex Segura, as well as Stefani Raphael. So we'll get to that shortly. But getting into this main story here, seeing what happened with the rebellion is a good way to jump into the action. And then we get to see what's happened with the Empire. So the Anuet sector is governed by Governor Adelhard, or Moff Adelhard as well, I guess. And he has decided to just shut down this sector of space. The Anuet sector, if you're not familiar, also comprises Hoth and Bespin. So that whole sector of space has effectively been damage control. They're saying that, oh no, the rebels have lost. The rebels have lost. The Emperor's fine and well, and he's putting restrictions on travel and all these sorts of things. So people are delusional. They think that the Empire is still in control, but they are not. So the governor is, on the ship. He's on a Star Destroyer. He's putting into power. He's got Commander Bragg from the Star Wars Uprising game, this really cool armored stormtrooper. And he also has Lieutenant Alacia, a new character. And I love getting these different characters, because you have Alacia, who is like us. She is kind of like, okay, like she knows the Empire's been destroyed and is definitely on the verge of not believing as much as Adelhard is with his stern crimson iron fist, right? So we have all that going on, and the backup plan for Governor Adelhard is, okay, we have to retain control. We must bring together allies we have left to not only control the sector, but this entire galaxy. So he's asking for Reina Obscura. And Reina Obscura is a character that is also called an Anzadi species. They live a long time, and she's connected with the Acolytes of the Beyond. So she is getting the Acolytes of Beyond to join the cause of Governor Adelhard. The Acolytes of Beyond were first introduced in the Star Wars Aftermath series. They were the ones that recovered Darth Vader's lightsaber. They're the ones we also see. I think her name was like Kyra or something in the novel written by Adam Christopher about Luke and about Lando Calrissian. There's a lot going on there, guys. This whole era in between Return of the Jedi and The Empire Strikes Back is Shadow of the Sith. That's the book I'm talking about. So Acolytes of Beyond are now in the fold with this era. So it's very interesting, because you see Yupi Tashu, and I literally cheered. I opened up the page and seen Yupi Tashu, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is one of the Emperor's kind of sycophants. And he's the guy that's kind of getting these little kids in the Acolytes of Beyond to go get these artifacts and all this sort of nonsense. So that was crazy. But then you also have the Endor village, and that's really connected to Shattered Empire. This is the point where it's really connected to the Princess and the Scoundrel. So we get to see Leia at first moments seeing her father's charred armor remains of Vader, his helmet, as we've seen on that variant cover, holding it up, having this hatred, having this aggression, and then being approached by Luke Skywalker, her brother that she just found out about literally a couple days ago, and him sensing the fear in her, sensing the hatred, no, we can't let these things, let me train you. And that's when they get interrupted, because apparently the B-Wing pilot, Rins, is alive, and she's telling Luke and Leia about, oh my gosh, there's this there's this Empire force that's out there in the Anuet sector, and I just barely got out. So now the New Republic, the nascent New Republic, is able to figure this out, and they're going to send their people in there. But that wasn't all, because we get this backup story called The Rising, as I mentioned, written by Alex Segura and Stefani Raphael, which is the backstory for Adelhard, which is a brilliant move by Alex and team over at Marvel Lucasfilm for really just, as if this guy wasn't hard enough, we're getting to see his backstory. And this guy means business, man. This guy, he has roots that go back to him mining, and he's seen what stormtroopers were doing, the sense of power of them, you know, no nonsense killing people. Or he's like, I want to be part of this organized, strong structure. And we're seeing him kill his first his first rebel, which is a Lasad of all things. We're seeing him work at the Battle of what is it called? With Thrawn, the Battle of Adelhard from Star Wars Rebels Season 3. He was there on the bridge with Thrawn, apparently, overseeing this battle. He knows all about Tarkin. He knows all about Vader. In fact, he actually met Vader because Vader gave him a promotion to governor, and I'll get there in a minute. But he idolized Thrawn, he idolized Tarkin, he idolized Vader, like the strongest people of the Empire, the biggest tacticians to really understand what is going on. When he's given his first real big mission, which is controlling these rebels on the actual planet Noat, he decides to use weapons of mass destruction, essentially, and gas the entire planet, killing like the entire population and causing that planet to just be a mess. So this guy is a diehard Imperial that is no nonsense, and that's why I think he has the potential to be one of the strongest, most ruthless Imperials we've seen to date. And that's great for setting up what is to happen, because then we get to see him get promoted to the governor. But then he's also giving his speech to the people of the Anuet sector, like, oh yes, the rebels have been crushed or no more, and the Imperials are reigning forever. Little do those poor people know that this guy just put up the Iron Blockade, which is what we further know if you've played the Star Wars Uprising game. And this is just a great way, again, of introducing this character. So what I really like, just looking at this issue overall, is we get the perspective of the Empire. We get the perspective of Luke and Leia, who are reacting to what just happened on Death Star 2 with their father, and all this crazy stuff happening with the Anuet sector. So I'm hooked. I'm really, really happy with how Alex and company delivered, because the bar was very high. And yes, we have 11 more issues, but at least I am hooked. I will say, if this is for whatever reason your first Star Wars comics review that you're watching on my channel, go ahead. This is a great start to pick up with the comics. Issue number 1 of the Battle of Jakku, Insurgency Rising. There's going to be 3 parts to this, each 4 issues long. The next one is Republic Under Siege, and then The Last Stand, or something like that, is for the final 4 issues. But we're going to see Luke, we're going to see Han, and we're going to see Leia, the big 3 together post Return of the Jedi. That's something we've never seen, and I know a lot of you have been chopping at the bit to see that. If you're fans of the Thrawn trilogy, this is already giving me sort of like vibes of like, oh, we're getting this big story that's a direct sequel to Return of the Jedi in the way that those original books were. But yes, I'm over the moon at these. If you haven't noticed that already, but I'm going to end it here. What were your thoughts on Inquisitors 4? What were your thoughts on the Battle of Jakku, Insurgency Rising number 1? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed my ranting of these really cool comics, then subscribe if you haven't already. That way you'll never miss another video, and do support the channel simply by liking this video. That's going to do it for me. Until next week, may the Force be with you always. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StarRaptor.